today we are going to study about still the book 5, right? The omissions happen in regard to the third period of Jesus' genealogy, right? So omissions happen in regard to the third period of Jesus' genealogy. The title is The Gaps in the Third Period. Gaps in the Third Period. So there are three places where some generations are omitted in regard to the this third period of Jesus' genealogy. The first place, as you can see from here, is between the end of the second period and the beginning of the third period, right? Between the end of the second period and the beginning of the third period. And second is between Zerubbabel and Abihud, right? Zerubbabel and Abihud. And thirdly, some generation in between Abihud and Jesus Christ, right? Abihud and in Jesus. Not entire period of time, but some are missed, right? We don't know whom. We don't know whom and we don't know when, but we can see that some are omitted in between Abihud and Jesus Christ. So firstly, let's go for the big number one. The kings omitted between the second and third period. The kings omitted between the second and the third period. Right, if we read 1 Chronicles chapter 3 verse 15, 1 Chronicles chapter 3 verse 15 describes about the sons of Josiah, right? Sons of Josiah. I'll read it for you. And the sons of Josiah were Johanan, the firstborn, and the second was Jehoiakim. The third is Zedekiah, and the fourth is Shallum, right? Shallum. So according to the chronicle, right? The sons of Josiah, there are four. The first is Johanan, right? Johanan. The second is Jehoiakim. The third is Zedekiah. And finally, fourth is Shallum. Shallum is as known as Jehoahaz. Jehoahaz, right? However, if we look at, if we read 2 Kings chapter 23, 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 31 here, right? The actual order, this is what Chronicle says, but actual order is Jehohanan and Jehoiakim and Shallum is the third, and then Zedekiah will be the last. So let's look at this. 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 31. Can anyone read it for us? 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 31.
Jehoiahaz was 3 years old when he became king, and he reigned 3 months in Jerusalem, and his father's name was Abijah, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah.
Amen. So it says Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he became a king, right? So the year that he became a king was 609 BC. Jehoahaz became a king 609 BC. And he was 23 years old, so if we added 23, then 632 BC. 632 BC became the year that Jehoahaz was born, right? The year of birth. The Jehoahaz was born 632 BC. Whereas, if we look at 2 Kings chapter 24 verse 18, we can see Zedekiah's, the year of birth for the Zedekiah in the same way. Shall we read 2 Kings chapter 24 verse 18?
Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was
So Zedekiah was 21 years old and he became a king 597 BC. 597 BC. Therefore, if we add 21, then it became 618 BC. 618 BC. So 618 BC is the year when Zedekiah was born, right? The year of birth. As we are talking about the BC year, right? The bigger number means earlier, right? So Jehoahaz is Shalom, right? Shalom. Shalom was born earlier than Zedekiah, right? Shalom was born earlier than Zedekiah. So in chronicle genealogy, somehow the Zedekiah and Shalom's position was switched, right? That Johanan first, Jehoiakim second, and then Jehoahaz, the Shalom should be the third, and then Zedekiah would be the fourth. However, in chronicle genealogy, that this Zedekiah and Shalom or Jehoahaz was switched, right? So why in chronicle genealogy is the order of Zedekiah and Jehoahaz switched? Why their order is switched? Well, Bible doesn't actually clearly tell us the reason why they were changed, but we can guess from the Bible, right? Firstly, because Zedekiah reigned for considerably longer time. Zedekiah reigned considerably longer time. Zedekiah, Bible says, reigned for how many years? 11 years, right? Whereas Jehoahaz, Shalom, Jehoahaz. How many years? 3 months, right? 3 months. So Zedekiah reigned for 11 years and Jehoahaz reigned only for 3 months. So because of this time difference, reigning difference, right, that Zedekiah probably was mentioned as the third or as the earlier person, right? Secondly, it is because Jehoahaz did evil in the sight of the Lord, right? It is because Jehoahaz did evil in the sight of the Lord. Right. 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 32. 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 32. Can anyone read it for us?
He did evil in the sight of the Lord according to all that his fathers had done.
Amen. As I said, Jehoahaz only reigned for 3 months, right? Only reigned for 3 months. Yet, God's analysis, right? God's God's mark upon what Jehoahaz did for that 3 months was, you did evil in my sight, right? Of course, it's not only Jehoahaz at that time, right? The Zedekiah, Jehoiakim, Jehoiachin, right? They all were, they received the analysis from God, that recognition from God that they did evil in the sight of the Lord, right? So it's not someone is bad or Zedekiah is worse than other people. However, considering how long he reigned, right? How long he was in the king's throne, right? Only in 3 months. 3 months, you cannot do much, right? You cannot do much in 3 months. You probably was learning from your the precedent, right? You are not even fully aware of what king can do and what king should do, right? The 3 months would be the introductory time. Yet, the God says that Jehoahaz, he did evil in the sight of the Lord. So what it means is that even before he became a king, he had this evil, maybe habits, culture, maybe, right? He had this evil behavior, evil thoughts, probably. And right after he became a king, he, without hesitation, right? Without hesitance, he executed and he practiced it, right? He practiced evil in the sight of the Lord without hesitation. Also, if we look at 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 34, 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 34, I'll read it for you. And Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim, the son of Josiah, king in the place of Josiah his father, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. But he took Jehoahaz away and brought him to Egypt, and he died there. Right. The 2 Kings chapter 23 verse 34, it says, after Josiah, right? After Josiah, Jehoiakim became a king, right? And Jehoahaz, who became a king in actual sense, in actual history, he was kind of erased. He was kind of removed, right? He was not mentioned that Jehoahaz, he was not mentioned as a king here, right? Pharaoh Necho made Eliakim. Pharaoh Necho made Jehoiakim as a succeeding king, successor of Jehoahaz. But in the history, in actual history, Jehoahaz became king first. But that information is somehow not mentioned and is missed out. It seems like that the people or the people didn't want to remember Jehoahaz as their king. Although he only reigned for 3 months, and although that 3 months was analyzed by God, that is the evil time, right? Another fact is that the people didn't like to remember him as their king. If he did it really good, right? If he did it really good for the people, for the country, people would remember, and people would like to remember, yeah, there was a Jehoahaz in between. However, the Bible, the way that it was recorded, it sounds like that even the people did not like to remember Jehoahaz as their king. So considering above 2 points, being recorded as the fourth son and being removed from the order of king, whatever Jehoahaz did during 3 months' time was not only evil in the sight of the Lord, but also must be not so much favorable in human eyes. So whatever he did, we don't know what he did in these 3 months, but this behavior, this deed, this work that he did, right, must be very abominable to God and to people as well. That God did not want to remember him, and people also did not want to remember him as their king. So comparing with the Messianic genealogy, we can see that Jehoahaz and Jehoiakim and Zedekiah were omitted in this period. So let me show you the chart here. Right, Chronicle genealogy after Josiah, Johanan, and this is the order of birth, right? The order of birth. Oh no, sorry. The Chronicle genealogy recorded as Johanan, Jehoiakim, and Zedekiah, and Jehoahaz, right? However, the actual order of birth is Johanan, Jehoiakim, then Jehoahaz, Shalom first, right? And then Zedekiah. And the order of enthronement, order of becoming king after Josiah, actually Jehoahaz, he became king first. Jehoahaz, he became king and reigned for 3 months. After him, Jehoiakim became a king, and then Jehoiachin. After that, Zedekiah became a king. So comparing to Messianic genealogy, we can see that Jehoahaz was omitted, Jehoiakim was omitted, and Jeconiah was mentioned, and Zedekiah also was omitted. So in between the end of the second and the beginning of the third, the 3 kings were omitted, right? 3 kings are omitted. And the reason why they were omitted is the same with the kings were omitted in the second period, right? They did evil in the sight of the Lord. They depended on themselves, right? Not God, right? So all those of things that which I will just skip. Right. So second place where the omission happened in the third period is the generation between Zerubbabel and Abihud. Generation between Zerubbabel and Abihud. Matthew chapter 1 verse 13. Can anyone read it for us?
And to Zerubbabel was born Abihud, and to Abihud Eliakim, and to Eliakim
Amen. So it says Zerubbabel is the father of Abihud, right? According to Matthew genealogy, Zerubbabel is the father of Abihud. So question is Zerubbabel the father of Abihud, right? Is Zerubbabel the father of Abihud? If you look at 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 19 to 20, or verse 19 to 24 actually, you can see all the sons of Zerubbabel, all the descendants of Zerubbabel there. Firstly, let's look at verse 19 and 20, where direct biological sons are mentioned here, right? The biological sons of Zerubbabel is mentioned here. So, and the sons of Pedaiah were Zerubbabel and Shimei, and the sons of Zerubbabel were Meshullam and Hananiah, and Shalomith was their sister, and Hashihubah, Ohel, and Berechiah, and Hashadiah, and Jushab Hesed, 5, right? So there are 7 sons and 1 girl, right? 7 sons and 1 girl were born to Zerubbabel, and somehow we cannot see Abihud's name there, right? There is no Abihud's name. And if you continue to read until verse 24, 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 24, you can see that the genealogy lineage flows like Zerubbabel, then it goes to Hananiah, right? Then it talks about the Hananiah's sons, right? So Shechaniah, and it talks about the sons of Shechaniah, right? So it goes to Shemai, and then Neriah, and Elionai, and finally Hodaviah or Hodavaya. So this is a 7 generation from Zerubbabel, right? From 7 generations: Zerubbabel, Hananiah, Shechaniah, Shemaiah, Neriah, Elionai, and Hodavaya, right? So this is the lineage, this is the flow that we can find from 1 Chronicles chapter 3, verse 19 to 24, right? 19 to 24. So the Zerubbabel's genealogy, right, or lineage, finished with Hodavaya, right? Hodavaya. According to Chronicle genealogy, Zerubbabel's lineage finished with Hodavaya. It's paused there. It describes until the Hodavaya. Not that the lineage was cut or lineage was disconnected or genealogy was removed from here, but it only explained up until Hodavaya, right? Up until Hodavaya. So the question, the part that we need to think about is there any relationship between Hodavaya and Abihud? Is there any relationship between Hodavaya and Abihud? According to Matthew genealogy, Abihud is mentioned as the son of Zerubbabel, right? And according to Chronicle genealogy, right, there is no person named Abihud. However, if we keep tracking down, right, it describes until the person whose name is Hodavaya, right? Hodavaya. So would there be any? Is there any relationship between Hodavaya and Abihud? Firstly, let's look at in the perspective of the order of the Bible. Let's look at in the perspective of the order of Bible, right? What is the last book of the Old Testament in your Bible? In our Bible, in Korean and in English Bible, Malachi is the last book, right? Malachi is the last book of the Old Testament. However, according to original order, right? How the way that the Jews read, the way that the Jews kept, the Chronicle is the last book. Chronicle is the last book of the Old Testament. And Matthew is the first book of the New Testament. So in our book, right, Malachi, and it goes to Matthew, right? However, in the original book, Chronicles, and it goes to Matthew. After Chronicle is the last book, ending book, concluding book of the Old Testament, and it goes to Matthew. If we use that notion and look at the chronicle genealogy, right? In the chronicle genealogy, Zerubbabel's family was described and explained up until Hodavaya, right? Hodavaya. Then, in the New Testament, Hodavaya or Zerubbabel's family was described as that the Abihud is the person who continued the family of Zerubbabel, right? Therefore, that kind of indicates that Hodavaya could be the same person as Abihud. Do you understand? Because the previous book, right? If we have a book number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, if we have a history book of book number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? On the third book, the Davis family, my family was mentioned, and then on the book 3, right? It only mentioned up until Elder Shin there, right? And then book 4 starts with David, Pastor David, right? So then people can understand, because the Davis family was mentioned up until Elder Shin in book 3, and in book 4 it started with Pastor David, so people can understand. Pastor David is the Elder Shin's son, right? Or they have a relationship, right? In the same way, the Old Testament, last book of the Old Testament explains up until Hodavaya, right? And then Matthew genealogy explains that Zerubbabel continued to Abihud. So Hodavaya and Abihud, these two people could be the same person. And what develops this notion more is that their name Hodavaya is here. Hodavaya actually came from Hodeya. And Hodeya means the book says, the History of Redemption book, series number 5 says the glory of God, but dictionary says majesty of God, or the terror of God. We say the terror of God will go in front of us, right? That's the same, the terror of God or majesty of God or the glory of God. So the Hodavaya, right? It means the glory of God. Hodeya means the glory of God, majesty of God, or terror of God. Whereas Abihud, the Greek, because Abihud is in the New Testament, so Abihud's name is in Greek. So Abihud, you can see here, right? This is included. So Abihud, right? Abihud. But Abihud also means the glory of God, majesty of God, and terror of God. So you may ask, Pastor, Is Abihud and Hodavaya same word? No, it's not. Abihud is not. Abihud has a Hebrew root word, right? It's the Abihud is the Greek word that was actually originated from, or the translate from Hebrew word. But then the original Hebrew text for Abihud is not Hodavaya. It's not Hodavaya. It's not Hodeya. It's not related at all. So this is actually, literally speaking, Hodavaya and Abihud are two different words, right? Two different words. However, somehow, what it means is same, right? What it means is same. Hodavaya means the majesty of God, and also Abihud means the majesty of God. Therefore, we can guess, we can presume, we can understand. For some reason, right? For some reason, his name could be, well, no, I will not say what the book doesn't say, right? So I would say Hodavaya and Abihud can be understood as the same person. I don't know why he was not described or introduced with the same Hebrew word that the Abihud had, right? Or Hodavaya. I don't know why, but the book says because it's his name, the Hodavaya and Abihud signifies the same thing. So this person can be understood as the same person, Hodavaya and Abihud. Also, thirdly, if we calculate, if we compare with the Lucan genealogy, right? Lucan genealogy. Oh no, sorry, not yet. But if we understand, if we calculate from Zerubbabel until Hodavaya, right? Zerubbabel was the person who was born around 570 BC. Zerubbabel was born around, not exactly, right, but around 570 BC. And let's say one generation is about 25 years, right? So if we calculate from 570 and 25 years as one generation, then Hananiah would be the person who was born around 545 BC. Shechaniah would be born in 520 BC, right? Shemaiah would be around 495 BC, and Neriah would be 470 BC, and Leoni would be 445 BC. And Hodavaya would be 420 BC. 420 BC. He would be born about 420 BC. What's important here is Ezra, right, who wrote this chronicle genealogy. It is known, it is told, it is said that the Ezra studied. So Ezra, right? Ezra started recording the history or the genealogy when about 400 BC. 400 BC. Ezra started recording and writing this chronicle genealogy about 400 BC. So it is about the right time when the Hodavaya was there. That is the time that Ezra started writing and he finished. So Ezra finished. So what happened is so Hodavaya became a person who lived about the same time as Ezra, right? So it is almost impossible for another omitted generation or generations to be existed, right? If Abihud, if someone said, oh, maybe Abihud is the descendants of Hodavaya, right? However, there is no time left now. If we calculate one generation as 25 years, Hodavaya is about the person who lived in 400 BC or 420 BC, was born in 420 BC. So there is no time left now until Abihud, right? So Abihud cannot become descendant of Hodavaya. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Right? There is no time gap left. Right? If there is another 100 years left, then we can say, oh, maybe Abihud will be the descendant of Hodavaya. Right? However, there is no time gap left now. So Abihud and Hodavaya must be the same person. That would be the best answer we can find, we can give to satisfy all these three facts, three aspects. So considering all these points, it is positive to say Abihud and Hodavaya was the same person, and in between Zerubbabel and Abihud, there were 5 generations omitted. There were 5 generations omitted. Here, because Messianic genealogy after Zerubbabel, it jumped to Abihud, Hodavaya, right? So we can say in the third period of Jesus' genealogy, between Zerubbabel and Hodavaya, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 generations were omitted, right? 5 generations were omitted. Finally, the last place where the omission happened. The third is a generation between Abihud and Jesus Christ. Generations in between Abihud and Jesus Christ. Now, let's read Matthew chapter 1, verse 12 to 13. Matthew chapter 1, verse 12 to 13. Can anyone read it for us?
After the deportation to Babylon, Jeconiah was born Shealtiel, to Shealtiel Zerubbabel, and to Zerubbabel was born Abihud, to Abihud Eliakim, and to Eliakim Azor.
Amen. So according to Matthew chapter 1, verse 12 to 13, it goes like Jeconiah, Shealtiel, Zerubbabel, and Abihud, right? In Lucan genealogy, right? What's happening is, in Lucan genealogy, somehow we can see the Shealtiel and Zerubbabel's name there as well. Luke chapter 3, verse 27. Luke chapter 3, verse 27. I'll read it for you. The son of Johanan, the son of Resha, the son of Zerubbabel, the son of Shealtiel, the son of Neri. So according to Lucan genealogy, right, the Shealtiel's father is Neri, right, and Zerubbabel's son is Resa, right. So you can see that, right? Because we can find these two people at the same time together, right? Shealtiel and Zerubbabel in Messianic genealogy, and also Shealtiel and Zerubbabel in Lucan genealogy. People tend to suggest, oh, these are the same people, right? These must be the same people. We should consider Shealtiel and Zerubbabel as the same people, and from there we should calculate forward and backward. And the question is that a right approach? Is that a right approach to understand the difference between Messianic and Lucan genealogy? Is this the right way to understand? Well, it is not, right? That is why I'm preaching now, right? It is not. It is not right. Firstly, so are they the same people? Shealtiel and Zerubbabel, are they the same people in both genealogy, right? Firstly, their fathers and sons' name are different, right? Their fathers and sons' name are different. Let me go back to this chart, right? Their father and son's name are different, right? Different. Some theologians suggest that actually Shealtiel's father was Neri. However, he was adopted by Jeconiah. Well, it sounds great, right? It sounds reasonable, right? Oh, he could be another father's son, another person's son, but maybe he was brave, maybe he was very good, maybe he was very elite and very superb person, and Jeconiah somehow adopted him, right? I mean, it sounds great. However, there is it's very low chance for that to happening, right? Jeconiah we are talking about was the king over Israel, isn't it? He was the king over Israel. He was a king over a country. And if he didn't have a sons, right? If he didn't have sons, then there is a possibility that he could adopt, the great young man, right? However, he had a sons, right? He had many sons. There is no reason why Jeconiah would adopt Shealtiel. And there is no chance that Jeconiah would adopt his son as his succeeding king, right? So that's the Shealtiel being the son of Neri and adopted by Jeconiah is just a nonsense. It's not right, and it's not a right presumption at all. So what we can understand, our position is, because their father and their son's name are too different. I mean, they're different. Therefore, they must be different person. This Shealtiel and Zerubbabel in Matthean genealogy and Shealtiel and Zerubbabel in Lucan genealogy must be different person. So if we consider there is no omission in Lucan genealogy, right? So Lucan genealogy in 77 generation, if we consider that, there is no omission in Lucan genealogy, right? And then calculate from King David until Jesus Christ, right? King David until Jesus Christ, and divided this length, right? King David was 1040, right? He was born in 1040, right? Then Jesus Christ was born 4 BC, right? So this period of time, if this period of time is divided by the number of people that were recorded in Lucan genealogy, then roughly about 25 years. One generation is about 25 years it came out, right? So if we consider one generation as 25 years and start calculating from King David and see who would be the person lived in the time of Abihud, right? Who would be the person in the Lucan genealogy, right, that lived in about the same time as Abihud, and that is Jodah, right? The one who lived about the same time as Abihud would be Jodah. Luke chapter 3 verse 26, the son of Math, the son of Matthias, and the son of Simeon, the son of Josech, the son of Jodah, right? The Jodah. This Jodah would be the person who lived in about the same time as Abihud. So let's look at this chart, right? Matthew chapter 1 genealogy and Luke chapter 3 genealogy, right? David is the same person, right? 1040 BC, right? Then up until Abihud was 420 BC, right? 420 BC. And about the same time, who lived in Lucan genealogy? Jodah. And we have the same person in 4 BC, Jesus Christ, right? So in between Abihud and Jesus Christ, in Matthean genealogy, there are 9 people in between. So total of 11 people, including Abihud and Jesus Christ. And in Lucan genealogy, from Jodah to Jesus Christ, in between there are 16 people, 16 generation. So total of 18 people, 18 generation. Therefore, what we can conclude is, if we say the Lucan genealogy has no omission, right? Then what we can say is, in Matthean genealogy between Abihud to Jesus Christ, there are about 7 generation omitted, right? 7, right? 16 minus 9 would be 7, right? So 7 generations. It could be, continuous 7 generation, right? It could be one by one, different time, right? We don't know when, we don't know whom they are. However, we can see that about 7 generations are omitted from the time of Abihud until Jesus Christ. From the time of Abihud until Jesus Christ. So that's how we understand that there are 3 places the omission happened in regard to the 3rd period of Jesus' genealogy.